Hi, this is Barbara. Welcome to the Recipe Box. We've got a lot of exciting things happening around here, so stay tuned. Welcome to the program, everyone. It is great to be on the air with you. I want to say a special hello to all my friends on Twitter, everyone who follows me at the Recipe Box. You can follow me at the Recipe Box, and I will follow you back. If you spam me, I will not follow you anymore. My guest tonight, as I mentioned earlier, is the president of Native American Natural Foods. His name is Mark Tilsen, and I'm so pleased and honored to have him on the program. We're going to talk about the product, the Buffalo and Cranberry Natural Food Snack, and I've actually tried it. And they have a family of different products, but also what it's like to build a company. They've won awards. They are very active on social media. So I'm really pleased to have him on the show, and I'm glad he was able to take time out. So I'm going to introduce him on the show now. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hi, Barbara. It's good to finally meet you.
I know. I can imagine how busy you are because as I was reading some of the press releases, you guys have really, your product is really just all over the place now, getting awards and recognition. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. We couldn't be more pleased for the support that we've been getting and for how much people really enjoy this, pretty simple, just real food snack that people have really found a way to make a part of their life, and it's real simple. This product is based on a very old traditional way that indigenous people have always preserved meat. The Lakota people called it wasna, where they would dry their meat, and they would then dry their fruit, or in chokecherries or cranberries, whatever high-acid local fruit they had, and then they would pound them together and then take the richest fat, because remember back then their goal was to preserve enough calories to survive a winter, and they would wrap it they would create like a ball of it in this fat and then pack it back in the horn of a buffalo, or use the stomach or whatever they could. So they created this really high-end, really nutritious food that would help them preserve enough calories for the winter, since they lived in a feast and famine environment. What we did with this product, it really truly is based on wasna, where we did the same method but in a USDA-approved smokehouse environment. We add a little celery powder to speed up the fermenting, but the product is basically 70% buffalo, 30% cranberries, and 100% natural. We, of course, remove the fat because our goal is to combat diabetes and provide a really healthy product for both the youth on the reservation, but pretty much anybody who wants to make this part of their life. And that's what the Tanka Bar is at its core. Now we have several flavors of it, but it really truly is a very old way of preserving meat. And dried meat and dried fruit, as little as 100 years ago was very popular in North America. And I think what's happened to our company in the last few years has proven that it's coming back. People want real food again.
Now, how long does it last? And I want to say right off the top, I haven't tried the spicy yet. I'm going to try that next, but I have tried the regular one with the and it does have a nice tang with the cranberries. I will say that. How long does it last in the package?
It'll last 18 months, and the package that you have is a pillow pack that has an oxygen absorber in it.
Right.
Starting this month, we're releasing a brand new pack, what we call the Easy Open Earth Friendly Tanka Bar Fresh Pack. And this pack sucks all the oxygen out, so there's no oxygen absorber, but there's no oxygen in it, and it allows for the cranberries to stay brighter much longer. It also reduces our packaging waste by about 60%. So while the product may look a little bit smaller, it's still the same size, but this will keep it fresher longer and lighten our impact on the environment, which we're always trying to do here at Native American Natural Foods.
Okay, so you won't have to insert that little packet with it because
no, there won't be any oxygenating. You'll start to see those show up in stores in the next month or so.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, could you share with us also some of the awards that you've gotten?
Yeah, just to put it into perspective, we're located on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in the southwestern South Dakota. This is the second largest Indian reservation in America. It's home to the Oglala Lakota people, or the Sioux people, and it's a big reservation, 3.7 million acres. And it's very isolated geographically from the rest of North America. It's 100 miles to an airport, major grocery store, anything like that. About 40,000 people live there, 30,000 of them tribal members. It's a really beautiful place with beautiful land, but it also is a place that has a lot of poverty. Like our unemployment rate is over 70%.
Wow.
So we started this. It also has like a lot of poor communities, it has a very out-of-control diabetes rate because of the poor quality of the food choices that exist, or in this case we call it a food desert. So we started this company as a way to try to get young people back on the reservation, back into eating buffalo, make it more popular to them, and to try to combat diabetes, but also at the same time give them jobs and opportunity. So we started the company as an internet-based company in 2007. And in 2009, we started distributing the product. And we won all sorts of awards from starting with our local Pine Ridge Area Chamber of Commerce, gave us award for Outstanding Entrepreneurship of the Year. My business partner, Carlene Hunter, who's also our CEO, she's won Minority Businesswoman of the Year. She won the Supply Chain Award from the United States Department of Commerce. She won the Cliff Alder Award for Heart and Business, which is given to in the natural food industry at the Natural Food Expo every year in Anaheim. And we also were chosen by Backpacker Magazine in 2010, the Tanka Bar Hot, the one you didn't try yet. It was chosen as one of the best new products for 2010 by Backpacker Magazine. And that spicy bar that you have, it says hot on it, but it's really just a blend of jalapeno, habanero, red and black pepper. So it's not real hot, but it has a really, really nice peppery flavor to it.
I'm going to try it now.
Okay.
While you're talking.
Okay. And most recently, Golf Digest magazine listed the Tanka Bar as one of the top 6 bars you should have in your golf bag, which has been a great benefit to us to introduce us to a whole new set of marketers. Then Carlene Hunter and myself have recently been nominated, one of 10 finalists for the Social Innovators Award from the Social Venture Network. We haven't won the award, but we're one of only 10 companies in the world that have been nominated for this year. So we're very honored and excited about that. And these awards they're good for our ego, but more importantly, it allows people all over the world in the country to hear about our products who might not have, they might not be searching for this type of thing. Like some of the people who are listening tonight on the internet, they might not think of going to tankabar.com to learn about it, or never even realize that buffalo itself has less cholesterol per ounce than, say, skinless chicken breast or sockeye salmon. And our product uses no nitrates or nitrites or potassium sorbate. It's all gluten-free. We don't put any, like when you look at the labels of a lot of dried meat products, you're going to find a lot of stuff you can't pronounce. You look at our label, everything is very black and white, very clean, very simple, but very, very good. So did you take your bite yet?
I did.
What did you think?
I did. It's got great flavor. It really does. It's not what you expect. And I'm glad that you mentioned all the things that are not included in it, because it doesn't have that greasy, fatty kind of, I don't know how to describe it, thing that you kind of expect when you bite into some of these jerky kind of things. It's not like that at all. You've got nice texture and flavor with that. So it's not extremely hot. It does say hot, but it's not extremely hot. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, everybody should give it a try. And I don't know where most. I heard you just say that a lot of the people that listen to the show are in Canada.
A lot of them are, yes.
Well, the product's not available in the stores in Canada, but anywhere in the United States, if you go to tankabar.com, there's a store finder on there. You can put in your zip code or your city, and it will show you where the product's available locally. And you can also order, direct on tankabar.com. But like we're in every REI in the country, all the many co-ops and independent stores, all the natural grocers and Sprouts and Henry's and, those kind of stores. But the website's updated constantly, so if you go and your town's not listed yet, come on back, because we're adding, over 50 stores every week. And there's more and more coming online. And we're doing this all with social networking, because we're come from such an isolated place. We realized that it was the internet that would give us the opportunity to introduce this product to everybody in America. So we have a team of people on the reservation that have been trained to Twitter. We do blogging. They're all over all the different social medias. If you email us, our team will respond very, very quickly, very clearly and accurately. So we've been able to create 18 jobs on the reservation by using social media to build the company. From literally it was just an internet company to now we're in over probably 4,500 stores.
Wow.
And it's growing constantly. And it's interesting in that, it's not always the stores you would think of. I was just in a golfing store today, and he wants the product. But more and more, whether it's, a very strict gluten, natural health food store, or
right.
It's a climbing shop somewhere, people who are real active like it, people who are trying to just control their blood sugar like it, people who are looking for a really healthy, gluten-free. Surprisingly, many of the meat products you would think are gluten-free aren't. So, and all of our products are gluten-free. So it gives
I'm sorry.
It covers a broad range of people who are migrating to the Tanka Bar and to the Tanka line of products, who are just looking for real simple, real good food.
Right, and I'm glad that you mentioned a little bit about the environment, because that's why I want you to tell us about the awards that you have won, because of the environment in which you built your business. And I have someone in the chat room, the Real Goat Man, that his question is, it lines right up with where I wanted to go with the interview a little bit, is are you creating jobs there for the people there on the reservation? And you mentioned those that are working with the social media, but as far as building and processing the food and packaging the food, can you talk a little bit about how you're creating jobs for the people there?
Well, currently we don't process or package the food on the reservation because we haven't been able to get our volume up. But one of our big priorities is to work with younger people who want to get into raising buffalo. The buffalo industry is growing greatly. There's a lot, in the natural food world, more and more people are discovering how tasty and healthy it is. But very few Native Americans are able to find the capital to participate in this growth. So one of our goals of our company is to try to reinvest back in with our local buffalo producers on the reservations throughout South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming, and try to increase the people who are raising buffalo, because it creates a lifestyle for them to be able to hold on to their land and live in a way that they like to live. But it also has huge economic, environmental benefits for for the entire community, because when you restore buffalo back to the America's grasslands, you're really restoring the grasslands. And now that people who have come before us have had buffalo on their land for 15 or 20 years without cattle, we learned that the plant diversity returns, that the balance of wildlife returns. We've learned that even the songbirds return, and that everything about the buffalo makes them part of America's grasslands, from the shape of their hoofs that aerate the soil to allow for plant diversity to come up, to the fact that they drink water seldom and keep staying mobile. They don't stay by the riparian areas and damage them, to the fact that their pure weight stops prairie dogs infestation. They are really part of our ecosystem. Both when we eat them in our body, it creates health, but also it brings the entire prairie back to life. And we really think that's important as America tries to struggle with ways of reducing greenhouse gases and increasing oxygen. The truth is that America's grasslands are their own forest that are able to produce massive amounts of oxygen, sequester huge amounts of carbon when given the opportunity. But the way we grow our food doesn't allow for that. So we're helping people remove cattle from their land and restore it to buffalo is one of our long-term goals, and has a long-term economic benefit for the community.
Now, on your website, you also have a way for people to sign up to become affiliates. So to help promote, you use social media a lot, and that's how I found out about you guys. As far as where you're going with the product now, what is your next goal or the next thing? Let me mention this really quick. One of the things that I fell in love with right away when I watched the video was someone asked the question, what is your exit strategy? And she said, there is no exit strategy. This is what we're going to pass down to our children and every generation that comes from us. And I just loved that. I thought that was awesome. Can you share a little bit about what your goals are for the business? We've got about 4 minutes left on the show.
Well, we want to become an economic force to improve the health of the land, the people, and the buffalo. And that's really our long-term goal. And what Carlene Hunter said in there, that's the quote you just talked about, was it's about creating opportunity and wealth on the reservation. A lot of people won't invest with us because we're not trying to build a brand that's going to be flipped and sold and or we're going to move on. Believe me, you don't start a company in the poorest county in America to get rich. We did it to create change, long-term social, economic change. So when you talk about our goals, they're very, very long-term. Right now, in short-term, we're introducing this new package. We'll be showing it next week at the Fancy Food Show in Washington, D.C. for the first time to the public, and try to get people to embrace this new Tanka Earth-friendly, easy open fresh pack. And that's our short-term thing. We're also looking at bringing out new flavors in 2012 to give people more of a variety, and constantly stay focused on, we know that if we always do right by the buffalo, they will always do right by us, and it's a long-term belief of the Lakota people that the Buffalo Nation and the people are one, and that as long as the buffalo survive, well, the people will survive. In 1900, there was only 1,000 buffalo left in the United States, and now that the buffalo have come back and there's over 500,000 of them, there's more people in the United States who on the census declare themselves as Native Americans than ever time before. So we're seeing this in real time, and more people are coming forward who want to respect that, support it, but they also want to eat healthy. And that's where the Tanka Bar and Tanka.com gives you the opportunity to do, is both support what we're doing, but support your own family. And as you mentioned, there's the affiliate program and several other ways that you can participate on the website for your own benefit in your own family and help spread this word, because it's really just people talking to people that have built the Tanka brand and continue to build it.
Absolutely. And we're going to go into archive now. It's going to stop streaming live, but it will be recorded into the show. One of the guests in the chat room mentioned the buffalo are able to turn grass into protein more economically than beef stock and leaner meat. And that's what you're saying.
That's actually true. You know, a lot of people say, well, they don't gain weight as fast as a cow, but cows aren't fed naturally. And so if you were to feed a cow naturally, I think that its genetics could return. But buffalo are very efficient uses of water. They drink about half as much water as a cow, and they're very efficient uses of the grasslands. And they do convert to protein very efficiently, but you got to give them time to do it naturally. As the buffalo increase in popularity, there's more and more in a push to try to come up with ways of making them gain weight faster. And we're more in favor of what we call a wild management approach, where you, even though you might be in a fence-confined environment, you try to raise them as much in a natural type of rotation as possible, and give them, that extra year it takes to gain weight properly, and try to do it in as low stress environment as possible.
Now, is your background, what is your background that you have such a broad understanding of not only the business side but also the animal husbandry side? So what is your background?
Actually, I'm somebody who spent the most of my life doing economic development projects on the reservation. Since I've worked for environmental organizations, I helped found one of the first public community-owned radio station on the Indian reservation in America. I've helped work for different colleges. I've done most of my life as a marketer, and what I've learned from it is really from the graciousness of those buffalo keepers who have come before us, who really preserved the buffalo from extinction, and from dealing with people like John Froling, who's the co-creator of the Tanka Bar and a fifth-generation German meat smoker, who's a real meat artisan. This guy understands meat protein beyond anybody I've ever met, and I call him a meat artist because that's the only thing you could describe him as. He's a real artist when it comes to this. When I was trying to find somebody to help me create this in the USDA smokehouse, most people thought I was kind of crazy, and John was like, wow, that's exciting, let's do it. And he'd already knew the whole history of Wasna and everything, so he got really excited. And while we don't make our product at his plant, we do make our buffalo hot dogs and summer sausages there, but our other products are made at bigger plants. John still does our quality control and our product development, and we're still a long-term partner with Froling's Meats there.
Now, what was it like bringing your product to the USDA? And I mean, I don't understand the process to get any product from the kitchen table to, a retail outlet. So I can imagine if you're working from within the reservation, it had to be doubly hard or probably near impossible. So could you give us just a brief understanding of what that process was like?
Well, we couldn't have done it without a lot of friends and help from all over the country. That's the absolute truth. So, all these awards that Carlene and I have gotten, it's really shared by the whole community, both on the reservation and the bigger Tonka community of people who've just been supportive of us. And I want to thank everybody for that. I guess to give you an example, USDA has to approve every word on your package. And one of the words that we had decided to put in the package that said, from the traditional lands of native peoples. And USDA said, well, you have to take that off. And we said, why? And they said, well, you have to prove that all of that land that those buffalo came from is owned by Indians. And we said, no, we don't, because we're saying it was traditionally their land. And he said, well, then you're talking about all the land in North America. And we're like, well, that's exactly the point we're trying to make.
Right.
And he said, well, you got to take it off. And, we decided not to have that fight with him. But that's just kind of one little example. And, the struggle with USDA, like a lot of small companies, we have to learn how to, fill out the forms and get the tests done and do the things properly. So that's part of our learning curve. And they have to learn a little bit from us when